Welcome everyone to our next installment of 20 Minutes for Israel from Israel. We are humbled to be joined by Gila Rockman from Yerushalayim, Ira Kodesh, who's joining us. Just as a reminder, we won't have 20 Minutes from Israel for Israel on Thursday because of Thanksgiving. And tomorrow we are joined by an IDF soldier who will be talking about his commander who has just fallen in battle in Gaza. Gila, thank you for joining us and taking time. We so appreciate it. Why don't you start off, just tell us a little about, who you are, your family, you live in Yerushalayim, and then we'll talk a little bit about what you've been doing since October 7th.
Okay. Also, hi, Rabbi Branda. Thank you so much. And hi to everyone. And it's nice to see you. And I know a lot of, maybe some of you already come to Israel and your friends and peers are coming. And also we feel the support, whether coming or sending funds. So thank you very, very much. We really feel it. I have to say that at the beginning. So, and it's very much in for Thanksgiving. So maybe Thanksgiving this year takes on a different element. So my name is Gila. The accent is from Australia, as you can hear, but I've been living in Yerushalayim for about 30 years. And I work at Shalem College, which is a liberal arts college in Yerushalayim. I don't know if you've heard of Danny Gordis or those names, but that's a college. It's a college for Israeli students. About 70% of our students are now in the army, fighting on the front. And the other 30%, I would say, are all volunteering, and some of them with me at the moment. I'm now currently in the Jerusalem Command Center, which is called a Hamal, the Jerusalem Hamal. I don't know if you've heard those words before. There's lots of Hamals going around. So Hamal stands for Cheder Matzav LeMilchama, like a war situation room. And I also say it comes from the word Chemla, which is compassion and Chesed. And what we're doing is this organization started 6 weeks ago on Shabbat, on Simchat Torah, and where all the sirens sound in Yerushalayim. And a group of people got together very, very quickly and started getting calls. The first call was someone that was hurt in the south, and they wanted someone to come get them. They were stuck under a truck, and there was a call sent out to one of the people that started it. One of the next calls were from MADA, from Magen David Adom, the blood, the emergency organizer. What's MADA? So if you help me, yeah, MADA.
Emergency services.
The emergency services, and they said we need blood, and so they sent out a WhatsApp, and within an hour there were hundreds of people lining up to get blood. And after the next day, they already opened up in the arena, in the stadium, because there were thousands of people coming to give blood. And the people that started this were very, know how to mobilize people very, very quickly. Some of them were from the student demonstrations, and some of them political people. And I came in with actually a friend of ours, Shuki, and we brought the CEO of Shalem in, and we came in as an organization, a strong organization in Yerushalayim that has, we're a registered organization. We also have a 501 in America. And we came in and we just said, we want to help out. And we started fundraising for this place. And this place has got 20 departments running. It's about 5,000 volunteers that are in this building. I'll send you a video afterwards so you can show it to the group of how it looks. It's a call center. People can click in and they say, I want help. I need a driver. I need a rabbi for a funeral. I need a babysitter because my husband's in the army. I need food. I need equipment. I need a Casio watch. I need, we have soldiers sending in hundreds and hundreds of requests. As you know, that crazy day, 350,000 soldiers were called up. Most of them reservists. I know my brother was called up. He hasn't been called up for 15 years, and he left with his Shabbat, just what he was wearing on Shabbat. And even the soldiers that are in the army, they had no idea what they were going to. So when you hear that a soldier, I'm sure you've been buying boxes and socks and all that. So soldiers went in and they didn't realize that they weren't going to be coming out for 5-6 weeks. The other thing that happened was that the government Israel was taken very much by surprise, as you know. And the magnitude of the massacre of what was going on, and the magnitude of just the attack, and also it just went on and on for the first 36 to 48 hours. No one knew what was going on, and the evacuation happened so quickly. So I think those two big shocks together created like this need for civic society to sprout up. We've sent out over 50,000 boxes of food and dry goods for soldiers and for families. And we've bought equipment for soldiers and medical equipment. We've bought defibrillators, and we've bought little ultrasounds that connect to a phone that can go into a medic's pocket that save lives. We've bought lots of tourniquets and a lot, like trying to help the army replenish its units. In Yerushalayim, there are about 30,000 evacuees. There's 63 hotels. In nearly all the hotels, there are people in Yerushalayim, evacuees in the hotels, except for I won't say it's not nice, but there are 2 hotels in Yerushalayim that still don't have evacuees in them. But they're also hosting a lot of people from overseas. And there are people also in the apartments everywhere. So we're trying to help out all the evacuees. We're trying to help out the soldiers, and we're trying to just be in place of where the municipality and government are still trying to get there enough people to take over. So that's where we're at now. I want to focus on the good things, because I want to try and answer your questions and focus on the miracles that have happened as well. I'll say that on October 7th, civic society in Jerusalem that just came together, religious, non-religious, right wing, left wing, everyone, old, young, and everyone are working together. And after, I know you saw what was going on in Israel in the last year, I think there's a lot of tikkun that's been done in the last 6 weeks. It's unbelievable. I've got my, there are, the left wing sort of vegan, non-religious students that were at the heads of the demonstrations, giving help to the people from the right wing religious people come from the cities from the south. And on Friday, I was with one of my students. She was one of the head of the demonstrators, and her mother picked us up, and we were just with one of the hotels where people from Sderot, and from other places, they were there in Kfar Maimon, and she picked her up and she said, she's like, no, how are your mitnachlim doing? How are your settlers doing, like that? And then she said to her mother, she was like, don't talk about them like that. Like, she's like, I love them. They're my best friends. And it's really incredible to see this, these people that are helping out each other. I've got people, very, very non-religious people that are delivering on a daily basis badatz meals to people that's what they need. And they learn all these different hashgachot, and and there's Mahadrin formula and non-Mahadrin formula. It's really unbelievable to see this sort of bridging. I'll say another thing that I see every day is you see all these solidarity missions coming, and these people coming from overseas, and I know there was a lot of tension between overseas Jewry and Israelis. I take a group of students every year to California. And that's something that we felt over the years, a lot of tension because of what's going on in Israel, and the gap widening. And I feel like there's a lot of bridging, the bridges being also fixed very, very quickly. I hope that continues as well. The same way, like in Israeli society, I hope this continues. And we really feel like the love and the support and the Geshel Tzalma, we need each other. Like, if there's strong Israel, there's strong overseas Jewry, and if there's a strong overseas Jewry, there's strong Israel, and it's everyone's homeland, and there's no just Israel. Israelis don't have it's not only that, it's everyone's homeland, and I think Israelis are really understanding that, and I think it's about time that they understood that as well. And I think that's really, really something that's a miracle happening. And I'll just say on the other hand, the other things I see every day, are just people are working together the whole time. Everyone's volunteering, and someone gets a phone call that they heard some bad news, or all of a sudden they hear that their son's coming home for 24 hours. Like, doesn't matter what's going on, they're like, bye, and they leave their shift, and everyone's just got they leave, and everything's fine because they know that they want to leave, let them go home to see their son or their boyfriend or their husband or their girlfriend. There's a lot of girls in the army as well. So I think they're just really beautiful things that we have to put an emphasis on. And it keeps us strong, and keeps you strong. They're the things you have to focus on, like on the day to day.
I'll ask you a question.
Yeah, go for it. I can talk. I can, this is my therapy session. So yeah.
Well, we're honored to provide it. And you should know it's not just the people here, but we have, scores of people who watch this recorded afterwards every day. And it's our small way behind the headlines to be able to connect not just to Israel, but the people of Israel. And it's our small way of saying we are in awe of the efforts that you and all the volunteers there have undertaken. We're watching Israeli society transform into, it's a startup volunteer nation. Into what they've done is remarkable and inspiring. And it's our small piece to be able to help spread your words and what you're doing in sharing that. I'm sure there are many moments from October 7th till today that sort of stick out in your mind. Is there one or two of poignant vignettes or stories that you might want to share with us?
So I will say it was my birthday on Simchat Torah, but I stayed a year younger because I said that this is gonna be a year I'm not gonna celebrate. But the sirens at the beginning where we didn't understand what was going on, and then we went out to the miklat, and like my husband Justin brought down my birthday cake with whiskey, and we're all like, singing happy birthday, and like no one understood like what was going on. I think like I can say like one of the stories that happened to us was we had a girl with us staying with us, and she turned on her phone at some point, and her brother was actually at that party, and I lost a brother 3 years ago. Toby knew him, and I just I felt her pain, and we started calling the police and trying to look for him. And the end of the story that he didn't make it from that party, but my husband had to go take her to go get DNA testing, and I think that was something that like and she had to wait till her parents could come in, and then the army told them. But I just feel like when I seen that what was going on here, like rabbis were volunteering 24/7 to try and help families with this kind of thing, with like test, whether it's DNA, whether it's organizing funerals, whether it's being the getting the rabbanut. And that I think they're really things that stuck out to me, seeing people on the phone, psychologists on the phone 24/7 still. We've got a department of psychologists. We have a department of people driving back and forth. A woman that has cancer in the Tivot, I always say she's got cancer in Yerushalayim. She needs someone to take her to Hadassah and continue taking her. And I think that they're like the moments that stuck into me. A woman that comes to sitting in someone's house, actually, one of the volunteers, she came and she needed diapers for elderly, but she also needed diapers for 12-year-olds. There are a lot of kids with trauma, and like we can look at the person and look at them in the eyes and say like, it's not a gemach. We're not running a gemach. We're running a civic command center that we're looking at each person with what's happened to them, and we're trying to give the help that we can't give, but looking at them as a mensch and looking at them eye to eye and saying like, we're just here to help for now, and we're here to help you get through your trauma. So I would say like they're the moments that stuck with me. I'll say one more moment maybe is there was a siren at one time, and we all found all the volunteers are just like standing in the middle of trying to work out where the safe place is in the building. We're all just looking at each other like, what is going on? There's a siren, and we're just trying to do good. And but then like you just give each other some hugs, you hear the boom, and then you just keep going with the work. So I don't know, they're moments that I can that stand out.
We hear a lot about, you joked about the socks. And I've heard from a lot of people like enough socks, enough deodorant. At this point, Israelis are offended that we think they smell that bad, that they need that much deodorant. What are real ways that people in America can help support? What can we be doing from Hatzalah Brit?
So the honest truth is, I mean, the honest
we
truth
only
is
want
at the
your
moment,
candid response.
It's monetary. Like we've worked out what we need, what the supplies. Like I'll always say, like someone sent us these like rain jackets for the army, but the back was like fluorescent, so we had to give them to traffic. Like we've worked out what we need, what the right things are for the army, for civilians, what the needs are. So honestly, the monetary support is now what we need to continue this effort. If people are still coming and they're able to bring like a duffel bag with them to Israel, and they want to bring it themselves, that we've got like a list I can share with you of something, some very basic supplies that are always getting packed up here. So I can definitely share that.
But in general, you can get things there. You know,
Yeah,
it's the finances to be able to buy it. It's not the supplies.
It's the finance at the moment, and it's the finances at the moment. The government still hasn't. We're now going to phase 2. We're now first of all, we're still getting a lot of requests for winter gear from the army, and that's actually very expensive. But also we're starting to pay now. A psychologist can volunteer for 6 weeks, but at some point they have to continue. We have to start paying for services. The afternoon services, we're now started a program for kids for sports and trauma that's going on every afternoon. That's like martial arts and basketball and all sorts of things, and social workers on premises, and we're working with the Israel Coalition for Trauma. So now we're already starting to pay for services and scholarships for students, because this whole thing is held by a lot of volunteers. Some of the volunteers, they can really volunteer without being paid, but a lot of the volunteers are students that we need to be able to give a scholarship to. So that's also we're going towards that. Yeah, we need the monetary support at the moment. Like that's the honest truth.
So as we come to the end of our time together, you're speaking to a group of Americans who care deeply about Israel, who want to do whatever we can to support. What do we need to know? What else do we need to know from the street, from your involvement, from all the work you're doing? What message do you want to leave with us that we need to know?
So first of all, I think Israel is very strong, and just keep up the strength and the support. And we need that to be able to keep going. I know it's not easy at the moment. I don't know how it is in Hartford particularly as much, but I know it's not easy being a Jew all over the world. I come from Melbourne, as you can hear. Like the anti-Semitism in Melbourne is horrific. And so I think just supporting each other is very, very important. Just the continuing the support. The Washington rally was unbelievable, we saw, and whatever's going on in America. That's the first thing. I think the second thing is to know that Israel is very what's nachush, like it's very determined, like to finish this off and to really create a safer Israel. And I think the support still with the campuses or with the government officials or whatever it is, like all the Hasbara stuff that you're like continuing, like we really need the support to continue so we can finish off what we need to do and to get our hostages back. And I think that's a very important message to say. And I say the third thing is just the funding is very, very crucial at the moment until we get up back on our feet. I wish I wasn't talking like this, but it's really, really crucial, the funding as well, to be able to keep these supporting our soldiers and our civilians and the evacuees. It's really crucial because we're us and other organizations, a lot of good work. We're the ones giving those services at the moment. So they're the 3 things I would say, all equal. I like things in 3, but that's the
awesome.
Yeah. And
Gila, keep up the wonderful work. Thank you so much. And you should tell all the volunteers there that there's entire communities that stand behind them, that stand with them. Whatever we can do, we're going to help spread your message. Thank you.
Toda rabba. Thank you for the opportunity. Toda rabba. Mamash. Toda. Thank you to all of you.